All right, Chris, welcome to the Festy Hub Podcast, man. Really happy to have you.
Thanks, Manny. Like, super glad to be here. Thanks for having me on. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so this is for the viewers, like this is our first time meeting. I got a message from your guys' guy Nick, and that's how I connected with Crowd Compass. It's my first time meeting Chris here. So if you wouldn't mind, just take the floor and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Manny. So I'm the CEO and CTO of Crowd Compass, so the de facto CTO since I invented the product. I'm an inventor and entrepreneur. I found my way to this career, this lifestyle, through a very non-traditional path. Like I don't have any formal education or background in engineering or computer science or anything like that. I'm all self-taught. I actually started with a business degree, not really knowing where my life was going or what I wanted to
Mm,
do. It's just like a default option. I found out I really like science, and I was never exposed to tech or engineering. And I liked helping people and connecting people, and I thought medical school made sense. I found the body fascinating, so I did a stint
interesting.
in medical school. Yeah, and then realized while I was in medical school that there's this wonderful world of tech and innovation that exists, and I learned how to code while I was there, and realized that that was actually my true calling and my path. So I left med school to pursue a career of tech, and I've worked in startups and Fortune 500 companies, and now going my on my own here with Crowd Compass.
Wow, that's amazing. How many years of like med school were you in?
I did one semester.
Okay, good. How about to say, man? Wow.
Yeah, I got out quick. I did my winter break finals, and I thought, what am I doing here? I love this thing called programming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot
I
of
mean,
fun.
college is really just a place where you're supposed to be able to find out what you want to do in life. I don't know how many like 18-year-olds or, even like 21-year-olds like know what the hell they want to do in life until they start dabbling in a couple things. So
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think this like idea of like you doing one thing for the rest of your
mhm.
life is a bit of a antiquated trope, right? Like, why not switch? If you're bored and you're not happy with where you are, then do something else.
Were you trying to be a PA, doctor?
Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in Canada, University of British Columbia.
Are you Canadian?
Yeah, originally
Oh,
Canadian. I'm a
I think Nick told
citizen.
me about this. Yeah, yeah. I think you're
Yeah,
both, right? You and Colton are from
yep,
Canada?
from Canada. That's kind of where I got started in the EDM world too. Is Shambhala was my first music festival in
I think this is the year I might go to Shambhala.
Oh,
Well, are you
well,
gonna
let me
go?
know. Oh, yeah, I can't miss that festival.
So I'm gonna try to pull some strings, see if I can go. And I want to do. I did another Canada festival. It was Escapade. I did that. It's on the other
Oh,
side,
cool.
but I did
Shambhala is
that.
a
That was
really good
fun.
one. There's also Base Coast, which is closer to Vancouver, which
Okay.
is people tell me it's like what Shambhala was 10 years ago. It's like much smaller and still also on a river,
Hmm.
and the vibes are pretty great.
That's yeah. I'm gonna try to see. I've been wanting to go to Shambhala for a while. And right now my friends are all like they're all going, and I think maybe this is the year. I've been traveling a lot, so and I'm trying to venture out to new festivals, and that might be. I mean, I'll probably just see you there. That'd be really cool. And
Oh, definitely hit me up if
I
you go
will.
to Shambhala.
So how did you and Colton meet?
We went to university together
Okay.
on University of Vancouver, or University of Victoria on Vancouver Island,
Mm.
and we just met in class together. And we were roommates for multiple years. And Colton is the other co-founder at Crowd Compass. And we actually complement each other really well. We realized quite early on into our like friendship. I'm more of a trailblazer, and he's more of a trail paver. And so it's really the perfect matchup. And it's really exciting to actually work with him at a professional aspect of our lives.
There's a lot of because you're not, there's many company there was a few companies. I won't say there's many, but there's a few companies that I've like met when even like Radiate, and then like there's some other companies I won't name, but it's always funny. There's always like a yin to the yang, when it comes to like these partners and stuff. You can't both be the same. You have to have different.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's another one of these like misconceptions of like, really, find out where you're weak and invest in that.
Mm,
Or you could just play to your strengths and find somebody who complements your
yep.
weakness, and it's
Yes,
more efficient
exactly.
overall.
Yeah, well, there'd be no point in both of you having the same strengths, right? I mean,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, so that's really cool. I've noticed that that's kind of like the trend lately. Let's talk about your like raving and your EDM history. When did you guys get started? Did you and Colton both get into like the EDM scene together, or you guys?
I went first. I went randomly on a whim. I've always like loved music. I was like a hip hop DJ and a wedding DJ in high school and in university. And then I kind of like DJ'd house parties and stuff, like some electro house and whatnot. But I didn't actually go to a quote unquote music festival ever until 2018, which was my first Shambhala. I went randomly because a roommate of mine had an extra ticket, and I was like, okay, sure, why not? Like,
That's how
I
it
have no
starts.
idea what I'm getting
That's how
into.
it goes.
I actually met Dr. Fresh at Shambhala and had no idea that I met him. Um, I like made this light suit contraption, and this guy comes up to me and he says, cool light suit, man. I'm like, thanks. I'm light suit guy. What's your name?
I'm light suit raver.
And he points at his hat and it says fresh. And he just like kind of slowly like puts it across like this. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, I'm Dr. Fresh. And I'm like, congrats on staying in school and getting your doctorate, Dr. Fresh. I had no idea who I had met. And a bunch of people came up to me after and they're like, oh, you met Dr. Fresh. But I didn't realize until later. I was like, oh, I met Dr. Fresh.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but that was the beginning. And so I didn't know any of the artists or whatnot, but I just had a fantastic time. And so that was the beginning of my descent into the rabbit hole of EDM and the whole rave scene and culture. And I've just expanded the number of festivals I've been to, and it's just been an awesome experience.
That's awesome. That's how it starts. That's my first experience was very similar, and my buddy influenced me to go to a David Guetta concert, no, he that's what he said. He said David Guetta style concert. I'm like, okay. And it was Steve Angelo, who now I'm like, what? Like I didn't know who anybody was,
Yeah.
and I just got hooked. And at first it was like I got hooked at the party, and then eventually I saw like the community, and then I saw deeper than that, and then I told myself one day, like, I just want to be part of this industry. Like I don't, I can't keep partying for the rest of my life, but I don't want to leave this space behind. I think I want to be just enveloped in this space for the rest of my life. This is it. But I don't think that like I want to just be raving forever. And I think when I go to music festivals now, I'm having a great time, but it's not what it used to be. Like I'm not there for the party, I'm there to just enjoy the community, enjoy my friends, and spend time with like amazing people and meet new people like yourself and other individuals and kind of like see the way things work, and I'm really interested in like, entrepreneurs like yourselves and other people who invent these like very innovative products and I love fashion, clothes. I mean, there's so many aspects of the EDM community and the festival space that I'm just, fascinated by. So,
I think that's a mature perspective. I found myself on that exact same arc, and I think it's pretty true for most people that have been around the scene for a
yep.
few years. Especially when you start out younger and then you find yourself in your your 30s, and you're like, okay, there's more to it than the
Yep.
initial layer of sparkle, which is that party, which does draw you in, but there's just so much more
Mhm.
to it. And that I've really enjoyed exploring that the last few years.
And then, so yeah, so you guys started this company called Crowd Compass. I have I got one myself. You guys sent me one over. Really cool stuff, man. I got a couple questions.
Sure.
I want to know how you guys got started with this. How was tell me the tale.
Sure. So I think it was Shambhala 2022. I was there and I had brought Colton. So I went on, my first few Shambhalas by myself. I convinced him to come and he loved it, of course.
Of
And
course.
I lost him. We lost each other. We were supposed to meet up and see some set, and he wasn't
Side
there.
questing.
Yeah, oh yeah. I am king of the side quests, and so is he. So it was a perfect match to make a product like this. And so we couldn't find each other. And I go to pull out my phone to like text him or call him, and I was just pulled out of the moment, which hurt. It was like a physical pain of like
Yeah.
looking at my phone and like there's all this magic happening around me. And it's like, this is the device from my like regular, normal, unfun life, and I hate it, and I don't want to look at it and use it. And then of course it didn't work because the density of people at the festival was too much. So the self-service didn't even work. And I had that like classic infomercial moment of there's got to be a better way. And I went home from the festival and like Googled around for like other products that existed that solved this problem. And I couldn't find any. There was like one discontinued from like a few years ago that, not even for sale anymore. And I figured, well, why has nobody solved this problem yet? Like I need to
Yeah.
solve this problem for myself. So I actually started down the process of like figuring out how to make this thing and then build it just to solve my own problem. So that for next Shambhala, like I would have a solution to be able to find Colton, to be able to find my friends and
Yeah.
like side quests and wander freely. So I went to work. I didn't have any experience in a lot of this stuff like firmware engineering or circuit boards, PCBs or
Yeah.
manufacturing or
Well, where'd
3D
you get
modeling.
started? Like, how did you end up doing just researching, or how did you end up doing all that?
Yeah, exactly. It's just like anything, like any big scary
Hmm.
project that you look at, if you can break it up into smaller bites and just iterate, it's just like how human civilization has
Yeah.
evolved in a little micro view of what I did. And I said, okay, I need to be able to have like two radios communicate with each other.
Hmm.
Like, figure out how to do that, Chris. And so I went and Googled a bunch of stuff on radios and different protocols and what sort of technologies existed. I needed a low power radio that would go really far and wouldn't be affected by like water, which is high densities of
Hmm.
people are made of water. So I found a technology, 915 megahertz LoRa radio that checked those boxes. And then I made two widgets communicate with each other, from across like a football field. And then it was, okay, well, how do I turn it into something like usable? Well,
Right.
let's light up some LEDs. And I had this thought in my head of LEDs. I'm a light suit guy. I like LEDs.
Yeah.
So I needed LEDs in the
I
product.
mean, it's a festival city. You got to have some
Yeah,
LEDs.
exactly. LEDs, it had to have LEDs. And then the idea of like this concentric circles and the LEDs representing different people's colors came to me. And then I interviewed a bunch of my friends. I must have talked to 50 people from like my close friend group as well as like friends of friends and just did some focus group and research and like mocked out the devices on a PowerPoint and showed it to people. Would you use this? Like, tell me about what your concerns are.
Yep.
Oh, battery life. And oh, I'd rather have replaceable batteries than rechargeable batteries. And I just did like a lot of like user studies on what people wanted and what was weird and what wasn't weird, what they liked and didn't like.
Yeah.
Then I put all that together into like an original prototype.
Yep.
Um, and I brought that to Shambhala the next year. That's actually what it looked like.
That was a prototype.
That's the yeah, Crowd Compass V0.
Oh God. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not a bad design though. It looks like a remote control.
Yeah, exactly. And it had a rechargeable battery and these concentric rings. The core concept of you being a color and your friends being a color was the same. And you could press a button on it and it would like flash your other friend's remote in your color. And
Wait, I
so
have a question about that
yeah,
before
go
we
ahead.
okay, so that's actually pretty cool. Like I like the handle. I didn't even know that you like were thinking about it because a lot of bags now have like a fan holder. What made you like, get rid of the handle?
It just felt a little too utilitarian and
Hmm.
less like fun.
Okay.
I wanted like a mini map to like you're in a video game
Okay.
sort of vibe. And it was just easier to make also as
Yeah,
far
you
as
you
like
were
a
think you were
circular.
thinking Dragon Ball Z and how can I get the
Exactly.
Dragon Balls?
Yeah, exactly. I might make a version with a handle in the future. But we brought it to Shambhala and like I had done like testing around like
Hmm.
local fields and stuff in my house and brought my long-suffering wife out to like test all the stuff with me. And like I knew it seemed to work. But then we brought 10 of these to Shambhala the next year in 2019, I believe. And it was so fun when we all realized they worked. That's we did that the whole festival. Would be like my friend would come up to me and be like, "It works!" Like because
Yep.
he could find me, and then we just did that the whole time. And then there was like this buzz at the festival. Like I had random people coming up to me, be like, "Oh my God, you're the guy that made the thing! Like tell me about this. Like what is this?" And I wasn't planning on selling it or really like
Yeah, you're
release.
trying to find Colton, man.
Yeah, I just needed to find Colton. I went on like a 2-year ordeal just to find Colton. the ultimate side quest, really.
It's like Iron Man. He sees a problem, he in the suit, he just fixes it, you know?
Exactly like that. But then I had like people like, where can I buy it? Like, I want one of these. Like, I have the
Mhm.
exact same problem you have. Like, I can't find my friends, or I want to go and like experience the festival by myself, and then know that I can meet up with my friends again. Because I ironically actually spend less time with my friends at festivals now that I have this product, because it's like the permission for me to go and like do whatever I want and then come back, and we don't have to like stay as this little cluster and
Yep.
go through the festival for fear of losing each other. And so, okay, well, maybe I've got something here. People want this. I made a post on Reddit of like, here's my like widget. What do you guys think? And it had a lot of traction. And I thought, okay, I'm onto something. Let's build it. And Colton and I spent the next year figuring out how to make this thing at scale and make happy customers and a reliable product that works.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy. It's like, oh, I have to go use the restroom. It's like, oh, okay, here you go. Go
Exactly. Yeah.
ahead.
Tag them. Yeah.
Exactly. It's exactly. It's just an air tag. You just put this in your bag. Where you go put it in. I wouldn't put it in their pocket. Lots of phone thieves. But yeah, definitely just put it in their bag real quick and be like, go wander off.
Exactly. Yeah. And it was actually really funny. Like I use it more of like a utility,
Hmm.
but one of my beta testers of that first year, a good friend of mine, he just held it in front of his face like this the whole festival. It's hilarious. Like he was like, I'm in a video game. This is so much fun." And that was the way he used it. And I'm like, oh, there really is a fun component to this as well. It's like, sure, I can find my friends and they can find me, but like it's pretty cool when you are in the middle of a festival and all the chaos is going on and you like consult your little map. I've had so many people just like looking at me like, what are you doing with that thing? Crazy wizard. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit of this. Tell me about the range. Tell me about how does this work?
Sure. So it uses 915 megahertz LoRa radio. So kind of like a walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
It's a low frequency radio band, which is really good for going long distances. It's long and slow encoding. So I wanted to optimize for long distances. There's um, essentially a 3 mile range
Okay.
point to point that works line of sight. So as long as there's no like mountain in between
What about
you.
buildings?
Buildings will definitely decrease that
Okay.
range. So 3 miles is like perfect world. In actuality, it's like, closer to 1.5 to 2. But the cool thing that these things do to get around some of those concerns, if there's like buildings or like even trees or like lots of people, can
Hmm.
be a problem sometimes too, because people attenuate the frequency. They're made of water, and water just sucks up the radio frequency, absorbs it. Is that they're networked together in a mesh. So what that means is that imagine like a grid of crowd compasses. Each one of those dots or each one of those nodes in this grid are communicating with each other in like a spider web type fashion, where they relay messages of other compasses from one node or one compass to another. So imagine you and I and Colton are in a group,
Okay.
and you and I are separated by some mountain or like a uh, stands for with like thousands of people on it, and our signal just can't penetrate. However, I can see Colton and you can see Colton, and our signal is clear from Colton to ourselves. I can actually send you a message through Colton, and Colton doesn't know at all. So, the more people that use this device, the better it is for
The bigger the
everyone.
spider web gets.
Exactly. And what's also cool is that that's irrelevant of your group and other friends' groups. So you and your friends are all on the same group, and you have an encryption key that's shared privately among you and your friends. So all of your messages as well as your location information can only be read by your friends.
Okay.
However, that information can still be relayed in its encrypted format across other groups. So they help you, but they can't actually read your private messages or know where you are, which is obvious safety concern there.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. So you were talking about a simulation. I don't know if you want to pop that up now, and then we could go ahead and take a look at
Yeah,
that.
let's do it. Cool. So instead of trying to walk you through the demo here and holding it in front of my face, this is a Crowd Compass simulator, and I'll go ahead and refresh it. So what we're looking at here is Shambhala, my favorite music festival, as discussed. And we have to go find our friends. So our friends are scattered to the wind like they always do at festivals. And we are this green triangle down here at the village, Colton's favorite stage. And what we see right here is our color here in the middle of the compass. Each compass has its own color. So we're
Okay.
green dot, there's nobody nearby. Um, this green circle around the triangle is essentially like your zoom distance horizon. So there's like 5 different zoom settings on the crowd compass, ranging from 100 feet to 3 miles and beyond. Right now we're on 100 feet and we can't see anybody. So what we can go ahead and do is zoom out, and we can see now that there is an orange dot at what is that? Like our 9 o'clock,
Okay.
and it's relative to the way that we're looking. So the triangle here is pointing in the direction that we're standing as a person. So imagine I'm standing here facing due north. I see that orange is in front of me and to the left. So what I'll do here is I'll turn my body so that I'm walking so the orange dot is right in front of me. And then my little man, me, moves forward until orange is right on top of me. And then you can see that the orange dot is now alternating with your green dot. You found your friend.
Right, you're stepping on your friend. Yeah, he's like on the ground.
Exactly. You found each other. You've been reunited at long last. Found Colton. And then, of course, you can zoom out even farther, and you can see this is, I think this is a 1500 feet setting. I'm not sure. And you can see even more people. A red dot here for the living room, a purple dot over here for the guy in the starlight, and blue for the person in Shamba Lodging. And then as your perspective changes, as you rotate, the LEDs, your friends, stay in absolute space. So essentially, like as you hold a compass and you turn it, north is always
Yep.
pointing in the direction of north. This will always point in the direction of your friend relative to you. So right now we're pointing due north. We know that red dot is forward and to the right. If we go this way and we turn the out like all the way around, red dot is behind us. So it just tells you which direction you need to walk in to find your friend. And that's the friend finding feature in a nutshell.
Well, that's pretty nifty. I do love the zoom out and the zoom in. And I know you have like other like pretty neat tricks on here. Like you can like see, the whole sending messages and stuff like that. And so that's pretty cool. What can we expect out of these products? Like, do you have anything like new coming up that you can talk about, or is it classified? Don't say anything that's classified. No.
Well, I mean, we do have a couple of like things on the down low that we're working on, but also some exciting things to talk about that are coming up. We've really invested a lot in our mobile app. It's my wife and I that make the mobile app. She's the kind of main mobile app engineer, but I do work there as well. And that allows you to send text messages through the Compass network by connecting your phone to your compass. So you can send a direct message with a keyboard on your app. You can look at a map and see where everybody's at, just like the one I showed
Mhm.
you, as well as send group messages, change your color, and other things like that. So the app unlocks a lot of features, and so there's going to be some new fun features coming out on the
Mhm.
app, like
Can you use it
sharing your
offline, or is it you got to be connected?
completely offline. So you
Nice.
can text and whatnot as you normally would, and you could be on the moon and it would work. No cell service or internet or Wi-Fi required. So there are going to be some fun, exciting app stuff coming out, especially around like groups and group management, like being in multiple groups at once, sharing a group ahead of time, so you don't all have to be in the same spot to pair together. You could just send your buddy a link, and he'll be able to join your group when he arrives late, because there's always one of those friends that
Yep.
shows up late. So fun stuff like that. We've got accessories that are coming very soon, that a protective case, a silicone sleeve, as well as a new product called the Swap Top, which right now it's a phone tether as well as a crowd compass tether. So a
Okay.
retractable leash, because we all know phone theft and
Yep.
losing your phone is a problem.
Yep.
But you can swap out the art on it. So we're going to have art from local artists that we're going to commission to give us some awesome art collections. And you can screw off the art and put on a new top. So we're going to have like collectible tops from all sorts of different types of art collections that you can have to customize your phone tether to your liking.
Yeah,
So
you know what
that's
I think would be really cool is
yeah.
if you had like a suggestion box for, for your clientele to kind of like be like, hey, like I would be interested in like a like certain type of this, right? So like they could be like obviously without copyright infringement, but it'd be really cool. But like if somebody was like, oh, I wish this looked more like, like a checkers piece.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We have a Discord that's pretty active, the Crowd Compass Discord, that there's a couple of channels in there for people to drop feedback, and we have lots of like engaged customers who are like, yeah, actually like I want it to have tell the time. Yeah, sure, you can pre-program messages
Hmm.
into it, but I want to know what time my set is coming, or can I have reminders? So we've got
Hmm.
like a pretty good healthy backlog of user-generated features, which is really cool. We're all about like building community.
Yeah.
So that's definitely the place to check out.
Yeah, community is very big, especially in the EDM community. Everybody knows everybody, and everybody wants the coolest thing. Um, I mean, this is really awesome, and I really love how you guys are just so innovative with your products. I do want to know, just because I probably have some like viewers that are, aspiring entrepreneurs such as your guys' selves, and I would like to know, it's like, what were like the hardships, or the struggles or the difficulties of starting a brand new company from scratch, not particularly, just talking about like this, the compass or, but like just like from a business standpoint, but also what has been some of the rewarding features, of like
Sure.
starting the company.
I mean, there's a there's a long list of challenges. I think working my way from general to specific, just somebody once told me that, being an entrepreneur is just how much pain you can take.
Hmm.
I think there's definitely some merit to that. Like every day there's something that goes wrong or there's some new obstacle that you've discovered that you have to surmount. So I think the biggest challenge has just been tenacity and just pushing through. The other aspects would be analysis paralysis. It was something that we struggled with early on, especially myself, where there's so many different directions that you can go in with a business. You're quite literally the boss.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? And I think, people have a tendency to freeze or to just keep thinking, I'm not ready yet. I need to learn more and I need to figure this out. Instead, you should really just be doing. So that was a big learning experience for us. And then, of course, customer service and just making sure people are happy
Hmm.
is, of the utmost importance to us. Like we've got something called the Crowd Compass Satisfaction Guarantee, where, if you don't love the product, like we'll give you your money back, like no questions asked. And you're learning about how can we actually deliver on that promise and not put ourselves out of business was a
Right, exactly.
challenge.
Yeah.
But I think that's like the number one thing you should be focusing on. Um, the rewarding component, it's pretty awesome to put in so much work and effort and money and time into something and then hold it in your hand and have other people tell you, wow, this thing is so much fun. Like this solves my problem. Like, thank you.
Yeah.
It's there's really no other feeling. So just like looking back at what you've accomplished as a team in a short amount of time with limited resources has been great. The other thing that was unexpected for me, so when I brought these first to prototypes to Shambhala, there was like some strangers camped nearby, and I befriended them, and we were hanging out, and telling them about my life story. And then I
Yeah, yeah,
told
yeah. Just one of those
anything.
campfire stories, and you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Hey,
exactly.
stranger."
I didn't really think too much about it. I'm like, yeah, like I dropped out of medical school, to make this widget
Just
and stuff. And that was it. Like I never talked to him again. And that was until Shambhala last year. I was on the last night. I was wearing my light suit, and they came to find me like, oh, we didn't think we were gonna find you. It's you. Like I just wanted to tell you, like you inspired me to make this thing. Like check out this totem that I made, and it was like awesome, covered in LEDs and stuff. And this was somebody with like no engineering background as well. And they're like, you did it, so I figured I could do it. And I was like totally floored. So
yeah, it's just
that
influencing
was really
people
cool.
subconsciously.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, okay, we're out here showing people that you don't have to be constrained by your background, and
Yeah.
that's cool.
I mean, you took kind of a big leap, and it's like I think that it was like when you just don't want to do something, and it's I mean, I spent 10 years in the medical industry, I'm still in the medical industry. I know I'm doing music and stuff, but I do part-time medical stuff. And my dream is to, like, eventually just only do EDM stuff, but I just love helping people, and but I'm just trying to, like, leave that in the past. And I think eventually, probably this year, I might just start doing just EDM and just focus on, like, that career. But it's definitely a huge leap, and not everybody makes it, and that's like just like a risk you got to take.
Absolutely. I think, when you have that fear, it's probably a good sign, right? You need to get somewhere, but it's scary to leave what's comfortable.
Yeah.
That's where the growth begins. So I'm excited for you with that.
Yeah, what's the so when we're talking about like your relationship with businesses and other influencers and like other companies, have you had any success with maybe any collaborations?
Yeah. So I mean, our main priority has been making an awesome product.
Mm,
Like marketing and collaborations and partnerships has definitely been back burner, really small teams. We're just
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
awesome product, awesome product.
Low hanging fruit for
Yeah. We have a new partnership with Mr. B's Festival General Store, who provide all general store type items at big festivals like Bonnaroo. So we're going to have a partnership with them. They're going to be an exclusive supplier for Bonnaroo and some other festivals throughout the
Oh,
year.
nice.
That's really exciting. Like you can buy a crowd compass on site at Bonnaroo.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about like the vending opportunities and stuff. So I was like,
Yeah, but our inbox is open. Info at crowdcompass.io. If you want to work with us, please send us a message. We really are all about cultivating community and working with awesome people. In addition to that, like the swap top I mentioned, we're really trying to promote local up and coming artists to showcase their art on our product that's going to go out to thousands of people. So we're looking to find artists that want to pursue their passion to work with us as well.
yeah, absolutely, man. I hope there's some artists here listening. And before we start ending the podcast, do you have any advice you want to say before we start ending the podcast?
Um, my advice, for aspiring entrepreneur
Yeah.
advice, yeah, is to believe in yourself, really. Like, is to take something scary and break it down into small parts. That's what I did. That's what anybody that makes anything new, whether it's a business or some sort of widget or art creation, is break it down into smaller pieces so it's not scary anymore, and then start with the smallest piece that you can do and just keep doing that, and don't give up.
Wow, that's actually really good advice because yeah, like it looks big. We'll break it down.
Exactly.
Make
There's
it not big.
yeah, yeah.
That's really
Whatever is the
smart.
least scary amount that you can do,
Yeah,
right?
that's pretty good. All right. Well, thank you for coming to the podcast. Before we leave, could you please give us all your socials? Name the Discord. I will add all that stuff in the description down below, so in case anybody wants to go ahead and click on that. But if you want to go ahead and see where, tell everybody where they can
Sure.
find you.
So we're crowdcompass.io on all of our socials. So Instagram, Facebook, our website's www.crowdcompass.io, and our Discord is Crowd Compass Club. If you sign up to the mailing list on our website, the email list, that's the best way to get like exclusive deals and discounts, and get access to products now or early before everyone else. We've got a lot of demand. So I would highly recommend signing up to the newsletter, if nothing else.
All right, and then this is just for the viewers. This has been Chris with Crowd Compass, me, Manny from Festy Hub Podcast, and this will be available on Spotify. We got Apple, we have a SoundCloud, so it's available on most platforms. I will add all of those things on the description down below if you guys want to go check them out. If you want to go check out the products, I'll put it on the website as well. And if you guys want to give any opinions, you can go ahead and join their Discord. And like I said, every podcast episode, I catch y'all at the next one. Bye, guys.
Thanks, Manny.